Scott Simpson. Thank you, Mr Speaker. And as Chairman of the Local Government Environment Select Committee, it gives me enormous pleasure to speak in this third reading debate on the Environmental Reporting Bill in the name of my friend and colleague Dr Nick Smith. And this bill, sir, represents part of a suite of legislation that has been introduced during this National Party's term of office that is real, meaningful and important in terms of protecting, ensuring the enhancement of and the benefit of our beautiful natural environment. It's an important piece of legislation, and it's important, sir, that we as a Parliament get this piece of legislation right and correct. And therefore, sir, it's a great pity to watch the spectacle of Dr Megan Woods dancing in this Parliament on the head of a pin, trying to find some kind of justification and some kind of reason for objecting to this bill. This is a bill that Labor actually do want to support. They've made that very clear in their contributions at Select Committee. They made it very clear in their contributions in debates earlier on this bill in this House. But oppose they must do, and they've tried to find a reason to do so. But, sir, what this bill actually does is it closes a gap in our environmental legislation that has needed closing for some time. And so this bill brings New Zealand into a state of best practice in terms of its environmental reporting, and I'm thrilled and delighted to be part of a government that is actually doing something that is constructive and good for our environment. As the Minister said in his contribution earlier, Mr Speaker, he said you can't manage what you don't measure, and I would absolutely agree with him. So the importance of providing good, reliable, accurate and credible environmental information is the very foundation of making good quality decisions in terms of the future of our natural environment and our natural spaces. So what this bill does is that it requires the regular reporting of the state of New Zealand's environment as a whole on the state of our air, atmosphere and climate, freshwater, land and marine domains. So those are the 5 key areas, and it will mean that we get a production of environmental reports independently, that are credible, that are accurate. And they will enable us to make, as a Parliament and as in policy terms, good decisions for the future of New Zealand's environment. And thirdly, and not at all unimportantly, is that this bill actually affirms the role of the Parliamentary Commissioner for the Environment in terms of reporting on environmental matters, processes and the objectives of that office. This bill requires, sir, the Secretary for the Environment and the Government Statistician to work together to publish a report on those 5 environmental domains. And one environmental report will be released every 6 months, with the additional synthesis reporting providing analysis and cross-domain trends and interactions once every 3 years. So that's at the real heart of this legislation. It's a very good piece of legislation. It's a timely piece of legislation, and it's one that I'm very proud to support. Sir, the Select Committee worked well, notwithstanding the opposition's desire to find at any length a reason to oppose. But notwithstanding that, the committee did make some useful and worthwhile changes, and they have been included in the bill, and that, I think, is a further sign that the Select Committee process works well to improve what is already good legislation and refine it even further. Sir, it's with enormous enthusiasm that I support this bill, and I commend it heartily to the House.